There is a number that comes to the head of most people. Not a salary, not a bonus. A figure that on being crossed implies that something has finally changed. To millions of people, that is $1 million. Not because of what it buys, because of what it means. It means you made it. It implies that the fear is supposed to disappear. It is the end of the restless nights worrying about auto repairs and bills and whether the retirement fund is being accumulated at an acceptable rate. No one tells you what happens to you the morning after you cross it. Somebody does not inform you that the number comes without ceremony, without a phone call, without a letter, or even a feeling, and that things on the other side are the same as they were the day before. That is what no one speaks about. Daniel Reeves was 38 years old when his brokerage account crossed $1 million for the first time. He was sitting at his kitchen table in Columbus, Ohio, eating a bowl of cereal, scrolling through his phone before work the way he did every morning. His wife Karen was in the next room getting their 2 kids ready for school. Their older daughter Maya was 12 and had a science project due that week. Their younger son Eli was 9 and had soccer practice after school. The house was a 3-bedroom colonial they had bought in 2014 for $220,000. They still had $90,000 left on the mortgage. Daniel worked as a senior project manager at a logistics company, earning $86,000 a year. Karen worked part-time as a dental hygienist 3 days a week, bringing in around $32,000. Together, they had been saving and investing since their late 20s, putting 15% of every paycheck into index funds through Daniel's workplace 401k and a joint brokerage account, never touching it, never moving it around, just letting it sit and compound the way every article they had ever read told them to do. On a Tuesday morning in March 2022, the number on his screen was $1,047,000. He finished his cereal. He kissed Karen on the cheek. He drove to work. He did not tell anyone. That silence is worth sitting with, because what Daniel felt in that moment was not what he had spent a decade expecting to feel. He had imagined relief. He had imagined a kind of deep exhale that would settle somewhere in his chest and stay there for years. Instead, what arrived was something quieter and harder to name, something closer to confusion. The number was real. The feeling he had been waiting for was not. He sat in his car in the parking lot of his office building for 4 extra minutes that morning, engine off, staring through the windshield at a concrete retaining wall, genuinely trying to locate the thing inside himself that was supposed to have changed. He could not find it. He went inside and answered 43 emails. What nobody prepares you for is that $1 million in a brokerage account in 2022 is not the same $1 million that existed in 1990 or even in 2005. Inflation had been quietly eating the psychological power of that number for 3 decades before Daniel ever got close to it. In 1991, $1 million carried the purchasing power of roughly $2.3 million in 22 terms. The cultural weight of the milestone, the idea that $1 million meant you had truly arrived, was built in an era when the number meant something different than it does now. Daniel had run the entire race. He had done everything right for over a decade, and he had arrived at a finish line that had already moved a mile further down the road before he ever crossed it. He did not know this yet on that Tuesday morning in the parking lot. He was still trying to feel something that was no longer where it was supposed to be. 3 weeks after crossing 1 million, Daniel and Karen sat down together at the same kitchen table and did something they had never formally done before. They made a list of what the money could not fix. The mortgage still had $90,000 left on it. Maya needed braces, and the orthodontist estimate had come back at $1,200 out of pocket after insurance. Their 2017 Honda CR-V had been making a sound for 2 months, and the mechanic had just confirmed it needed a new transmission at $3,100. And then there was Daniel's mother. Patricia Reeves was 67 years old, living alone in a 2-bedroom apartment in Dayton, 45 minutes away. She had been diagnosed with early-stage Parkinson's disease in January of that year. The progression was slow, but the medication costs were not fully covered by her insurance plan, and the monthly gap was $460 every month, indefinitely. None of these problems were catastrophic on their own. None of them were going away. The money was real. But the money, it turned out, was not liquid in the way the word million implies when you say it out loud. It was sitting inside a 401k and a brokerage account in index funds. Pulling it out early meant taxes and penalties. Moving it meant timing the market, which they had always refused to do. The $1 million was a number on a screen more than it was a resource they could put their hands on. Daniel described it to Karen one night as owning a lake you are not allowed to drink from. She did not laugh. She knew exactly what he meant. Then, in April 2022, the market dropped. Between April and October of 2022, the S&P 500 fell 25%, the steepest sustained decline since 2008. Daniel's portfolio, which had reached $1,094,000 at its peak in late March, fell to $812,000 by mid-October. 6 months. $282,000. Gone. Not spent. Not lost on a bad decision. Just gone. The way markets go, the way nobody can stop. He had crossed the $1,000,000 line. And then the line had moved back and he had not crossed it anymore. He was below it again, watching from the wrong side. Except, now the wrong side felt different because he knew exactly what it had felt like to stand on the other side. That knowledge made the drop heavier than any drop he had experienced before. He had tasted it. Now it was gone and he could remember the taste precisely. Karen noticed he was not sleeping. He was waking at 4 in the morning and picking up his phone in the dark and setting it back down without looking at it. Or sometimes looking at it for a long time before putting it face down on the nightstand. He was not talking about it. He had never talked about money easily. Not even with her. Not even after 12 years of building a life together. She asked him one evening in September what was going on, and he said nothing, and she did not push because she already knew. They had both learned, over 12 years, which silence is to leave alone. In October, his company offered him a promotion, Regional Director of Operations. The salary would increase from $86,000 to $119,000 per year. The condition was relocation to Atlanta within 6 months. Karen's part-time position at the dental practice could not transfer. Maya was in 7th grade in a school she had attended since 2nd grade. Patricia was in Dayton, 45 minutes away, with no other family nearby. The promotion meant $33,000 more per year. It also meant moving 450 miles from the only person who checked on his mother twice a week. He sat with that for 3 weeks. He ran the numbers in 11 different combinations. He and Karen talked about it every night for 10 consecutive days, which was more sustained conversation about a single decision than they had managed in years. He thought about what the money was actually for. He thought about what no amount of money could do once certain things were gone. He declined the promotion. His manager was surprised. Daniel did not explain fully. He said it was not the right time for the family. That was true enough. By February 2023, the market had recovered. Daniel's portfolio crossed $1 million again, this time settling at $1,160,000. He checked it on a Wednesday morning at the kitchen table. The same table, the same cereal. He noted the number. He did not sit in the parking lot afterward. Not because the anxiety had fully left him, but because something had shifted in the months between. He and Karen made a concrete plan. They moved $12,000 into a standard savings account, liquid and immediately accessible, designated specifically for his mother's medical costs over the next 2 years. They paid the transmission repair. They scheduled Maya's braces consultation. The rest stayed in the market. The mortgage still had $82,000 left on it. Maya still needed braces. Patricia was still sick, still in Dayton, still calling every Sunday at noon. And Daniel still got up every morning, made coffee, checked his phone, and drove to work. There exists a variant of the $1 million story which comes with fireworks and a sense of being secure forever. The majority of those who do make it there will tell you there is no such version. In place of this, there is something smaller and more candid. The cash provided Daniel with a reality. It enabled him to say no to Atlanta without them ruining financially in the decision. It made him be able to assist his mother without having to borrow or making the decision between her and the mortgage. It provided him, non-ceremoniously and quietly, with a little space which had never been there before. Time to make a choice, or two, depending on more than urgent need. It is what $1 million actually is to the majority of people who make it gradually and truthfully in 10 years. Not a destination, not an ending. Freedom in its absolute meaning of the word. Just a little more room. The figure at the screen is true. Life which surrounds the number is always more real.